Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account that says, my 38 female, husband 39 male, hid having lunch with a co-worker, 25 female, and said my food was tasteless. What do I do? I want this to be quick. I feel really weird about this and I'm on the verge of asking for a separation. So I've been with my husband for 15 years, married for 11. Amazing relationship. Small bumps of course, but nothing like this. I've always made lunch for my husband to take to work, and up until a little over a month ago, that was fine. Middle of March, he said that a new Turkish food stand opened up outside of his office and that he had been eating lunches there instead because they were good. Alright, no problem. So he just completely stopped asking for lunches. I'd maybe packed 5 during this time frame for him, but I'm not even sure he was eating them now. So on Thursday I was at home working and I had a phone call from him. Thought he was calling during his lunch, but he had butt dialed me instead. At first I didn't hear much, just him talking to someone. And I was about to hang up until I heard a woman's voice as well. I wouldn't say I'm a jealous person, but was a little bit curious, so I muted my call at work and listened. It was just standard conversation at first. He was praising this woman's cooking a lot, which of course made me realize that he was eating lunch this co-worker made. I was a bit peeved, but there's an explanation, sure. Although that went out the fucking window when she said, "Is it better than your wife's?" To which he replied, "Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's not tasteless for a start," followed by laughing. First of all, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? 15 years of cooking and now he has a complaint. And not even to me, but some co-worker. Also, that absolutely isn't innocent on her end, right? I'm not crazy in thinking that's so weird. Why even bring me up? Anyway, I raised hell, ended the call, sent him a message not to worry about my tasteless cooking anymore, and that he can eat from the bin from now on. He apologized. He said he loves my food and was just trying to seem cool in front of his co-worker. I asked why he lied about where he was getting lunch from, and he said that initially he did get it from that stand, but the co-worker started offering and he didn't want to tell me because he thought I would get jealous. Yeah, can you blame me? So I've been airing him since. I'm still pissed to be honest. I haven't made him lunch or dinner. Only for myself since he said he dislikes it so much. He said today that he's apologized and that I shouldn't keep punishing him. But I'm literally an inch from going to my mum's. I have a suitcase with my clothes packed under our bed ready. Dad thinks it was a stupid comment, but that I should work it out. Mum is on my side regardless of my decision. I'm thinking about leaving for a few days at least. Maybe a separation, but I honestly just want some reassurance if that's what's best here. This is awfully sus, isn't it? I mean, it's wrong in itself that he's putting you down to try and make himself look cool. He thinks that's acceptable in itself, which is absolute bullshit. But then there's the whole offering lunches. I can't say it's ever happened in any workplaces that I've been in. They just start sharing lunches like that. But then what really stood out to me is her asking, "Is it better than your wife's?" I mean, it's all red flag territory to be honest, but that really jumped out to me for some reason. Bitter Mistake says, "Now let's be real here. What are the odds the first time he talks about you negatively is the time he butt dials you? This has been going on since he stopped having you make his lunches." Single Vacation says, "Married men who are into some other woman start conversations by making themselves the victim and saying shit about their wives. In this case, maybe your husband was shit talking about your cooking, and now this co-worker is making him lunch, and they are eating it together." Blue Eagle asks, has he agreed to stop having lunch with her? Even if she is not hoping to get with him, she is certainly not a supporter of your relationship. Which OP responds, he said that he has stopped having lunch with her and apparently has done since that happened, although I have no way of proving this. Hexagons and Such says, "Damn, he insulted you to look cool in front of a female co-worker. Like why? That makes no sense unless he was trying to impress her. By shit-talking you and disregarding that you have been feeding him for years at the same time. How disrespectful. That would definitely feel like a slap in the face if I was in your shoes. I'm sorry, hun. I'd definitely leave for a couple of nights, no question." OP responds saying, "That's what I'm thinking too. There's no other way why someone would say that unless they were trying to impress them. I'm really leaning towards just spending some days away. He's constantly apologizing and getting emotional and it's suffocating me. I've moved to the guest bedroom because I can't even look at him anymore." So OP does come in with an update and says, "I'm back. It's not a great update, but you all deserve one for all the advice you gave me on my last post." He confirmed that he developed a crush on her. It's an emotional affair at least, and that's all I really needed to hear. I sat him down and had a heart-to-heart with him. Bottom lines are these points. If I hadn't have heard what he said, he most likely would have continued flirting with her. He admitted this himself. He liked the attention. She had bad-mouthed me previously. I didn't ask for examples, and he didn't shut it down because he liked it. She has actively been pursuing him for over 3 months now. He hadn't put a stop to it until I caught him. A Saturday before last, she offered to give him a blowjob during lunch together. He declined, but he told me that he let her feel his muscles over his clothes. The only reason he said all of this fucking shit was because I was all sweet and I said, "I promise, tell me the full truth and we can move on. I'll forgive you. I just want to know." Right. Fuck that. He's packing his bags. This is my house and he will be treated as such. I really don't care anymore. If he seriously deluded himself into thinking this is going to last, he can crack on. I'm genuinely so angry more than anything. I did everything for him. I make double what he does, so I paid all the bills, while he used his money for fun stuff. When we met, he had crippling CPTSD and body dysmorphia. I did fucking everything to help him get over it. I dealt with his night terrors every bloody night, despite it ruining my sleep. I reassured him constantly despite not getting it back. All of it without a bloody complaint. You love someone so much just for them to throw you away so easily. He cried, had a panic attack that I had to calm him down from, and is now taking his time packing. He keeps stopping to come into the living room to ask for a hug. I can't even express how disgusted I feel. Like I physically can't even look at him anymore. There was no need. If he was unhappy, he should have told me. I don't know why the hell he even felt the need to get some validation from this girl, but sure, whatever. He keeps saying he doesn't know why he did it, but of course he knows. He's just too much of a coward to tell me. But whatever, it's done now. He's leaving. His family is back in Germany, so fuck knows who he's staying with. Probably her, but I'm washing my hands of him. Thank you for all the advice you gave me on the last post. So many great ideas that I didn't even end up needing to use because he just downright admitted it all to me. Imagine him thinking this was still going to work after the points that OP just got across, that he most likely would have continued flirting with her if OP hadn't heard what he said. He was enjoying the attention and she badmouthed OP previously and he didn't shut it down because he liked it. And he was allowing this co-worker to touch him and feel his muscles. You know, it was just building up to go to a really bad place. It was already at a shitty place. OP's done totally the right thing after all that support that they offered him as well. It's like I say in many of these stories now, once the trust is gone, what the fuck is there? And it's absolutely that. Fair play to OP, but what do you guys make of this situation? Did you predict this in the update? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And guess what I've just spotted? Tree-lo, tree-lo, tree-lo. There's a bit of neighbor drama in there as well. This is from Goddammit Moon Moon, who says, in Virginia, neighbor is on video ripping my eastern redbud sapling out of the ground. I live in Virginia, in a neighborhood without an HOA. I bought my house a couple of years ago when there were 0 large trees in the yard. All of my neighbors have very landscaped yards. My house needed renovation, so I haven't done much in the yard other than plant some trees so they had time to get established. In the 2 years I've lived here, I've planted 7 trees in the front yard. 4 of the trees I've planted have been eastern redbud saplings on either side of my driveway. The first pair died over the first winter I was here, and then I planted a second pair this fall. The most recent pair survived. One was absolutely thriving, and the other was struggling but had growth. Between the trees and my neighbor's property is my mailbox, and the trees have mulch rings. I say these things because it's not like there's a question of whose property the trees were on, or did they look dead, and did the neighbor think they were doing me a favor by removing yard debris. 3 weeks ago, I went out to check the mail, and the one closest to my neighbor's yard was missing. There wasn't a sapling laying on the ground, so it wasn't like an animal chewed it at the base and it fell over. The entire thing was gone, but the mulch wasn't disturbed. I even dug into the mulch to try and find the root ball, and it was so weird. No root ball. My partner and I couldn't remember the last time we had seen it, and we had friends in town helping with a renovation, so it went out of our mind as a weird thing. Partner was convinced it was an animal. I was convinced someone stole my tree. Tonight, I went out to take the garbage to the road, and lo and behold, the second redbud is missing. I look around for it, in case it's on the ground and it's not there. Mulch isn't disturbed, exact same situation as the other one. So I dig down to try and find the root ball, and there isn't one. It's only 4 foot tall, so not like there'd be a big one to begin with. I call my partner and let them know. He'd been out of town, but mentioned when they left Wednesday morning, they remembered checking on the tree. So I go to the video footage. It was there the morning of the 1st and the morning of the 2nd. The morning of the 3rd, hard to tell. It might be there, it might not. I go through more video from Friday and confirm the tree is not there. So I go back to the 2nd and I start going through the video, and around 7 PM, I get my answer. I see my neighbor walk onto my property carrying yard debris from her yard. She's looking around and then walks up to the tree, rips it out of the ground and walks back off to her property, snapping the tree in half a couple of times as she goes. If I had to guess, she was carrying the yard debris as a cover. Oh, I thought it was yard debris and I was just trying to help. I went back to see if I ever on video doing the same thing to the first tree, but the video doesn't go back that far unless you specifically save the video, which I didn't think to do. If I were a gambler, I'd put money on the fact that she did the same thing to the first tree. I know tree law in VA states that if the trees are on your side, you can trim them as long as you don't do it to a point where you kill them. But these trees were very much on my property. The one that she killed recently was literally the tree, my driveway, a small stretch of yard. The first tree was that went missing, my mailbox, and then the neighbor's yard. What is standard procedure here on addressing this with a neighbor? I don't want to get police involved for destruction of property, but at the same time, who comes onto someone's property and rips their trees out of the ground? Unrelated, my relationship with this neighbor has always been wonderful. Like, I bake them pies and they give me things from their garden. We bring packages for each other when FedEx inevitably delivers them to the wrong house. There was a windstorm in March that blew a tree over from their neighbor's yard, 2 houses down from me, into their yard, and I went out with my chainsaw to help cut it up so it didn't just sit. Opie immediately comes in with a quick update in the same post and says, "This has gathered far more comments than I expected, but I figured there were a couple of things that needed to be addressed. First, the video. The video is safe. I have a copy on my phone, personal laptop, work laptop, and I've sent it to many friends because it's such a batshit situation. We have copies should I need to use it. Second, tree proximity to property line. Because I was curious, I went out with my handy dandy tape measure to check see how far the trees were planted from the line. The first tree was yoinked 3 weeks ago, was 6 foot from the property line. The second tree that was pulled a few days ago was 22 feet 3 inches from the property line. The only one arguably close to the property line was the first one, 6 feet from the line, and honestly, if she had come to me with a concern about it, I probably would have agreed to move it in the fall when it went dormant and it was safe to do so. Instead, she chose tree violence. Third, the plan. Because my partner travels a lot, we both own our own houses. We both own our houses, so neither of us are going anywhere. And because I want to make sure she doesn't retaliate against the other 9 baby trees in my backyard that's fenced in, or my dog, I've decided to take a user's advice to an extent. Basically, I'm going to tell them someone vandalized and stole property out of my yard, and I'm going to go through the video from one of the cameras in the next couple of days, and this camera points at the area of the trees. I'm going to ask them if they've had anyone vandalize or steal their property in the last week or so. Basically giving them the opportunity to fess up and give me whatever lie they come up with on the spot, so as to why she destroyed the trees. If she owns up to it, I'll ask her to buy me new trees to make it right, then tell her she should not come onto my property and do something like this again without my permission. If she doesn't, in a few days I'll go back with a video and give her another opportunity to make it right. At that point, if she still doesn't, then I'll report her for theft and destruction of property and have her trespassed. Because we're not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't want to go completely nuclear in the first round. Hopefully it doesn't get to the last bit. Fourth, she's an avid gardener. She has trees lining the back of her property. Trees on the property line she shares with me, close to where the Redbud massacre of 2024 occurred. A vegetable garden. So many rows and phlox bushes I've lost count, and recently added some new low shrubs near the trees on the back of her property. Her yard is very curated, with many shrubs, trees and flowers, both deciduous and evergreen. While I could be wrong, I don't think her moving the trees had to do with her being concerned about their leaves. If she were, she'd probably take down one of the two 60-year-old maple trees in her backyard. Mate, that is batshit crazy. Just coming onto your property and pulling up trees and snapping them directly in half. I'm really curious what she's going to say in this update to OP, what the excuse will be. Especially because you say that you've been such great neighbors before this. What is going on? Good neighbors don't pull this sort of shit. Just literally pulling two trees out the ground. And we pretty much got a glimpse of the comments in OP's first update there. Told them what they was going to do. So OP came in with their update and said, okay, so this will hopefully be the final update and there won't be any need to get motion activated sprinklers involved. Remember that story? I'm not ruling them out if this ends up escalating after this post. Today I work from my closet because it has a window that just so happens to overlook my neighbor's garden. And her car was in her driveway, so I knew she was home. Around 1 PM she made an appearance, so I went out to check the mail. I waved to her with a big smile and said hello. She said hello and we exchanged minor pleasantries. And then I segued into asking, oh, hey, have you guys noticed if you've had anything stolen or vandalized in your yard? She said, oh no, not at all. OP says, I'm glad to hear it. I had 2 trees taken from my yard over the last 3 weeks. He replied, what do you mean taken from your yard? OP says, well, the 2 redbuds I had at the end of the driveway. They were saplings and one was by the mailbox and the other was by the lamppost. The first disappeared about 3 weeks ago and the second one disappeared sometime after Wednesday. He responded, no, we haven't had anything like that happen. OP says, that's great. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm going to check one of the cameras I have on the property in the next couple of days. It's pointed at the driveway so it gets a clear view of the trees and we'll be able to see what happened. Hopefully it's just animals or something, because if someone came onto my property and stole them, I'm going to have to get the police involved for theft. OP continues, if I didn't have her attention before, I definitely had it at the last bit because she started asking more clarifying questions about these missing trees. What kind of trees you say? And where were they? How big were they? I answered all of her questions and add on that it sucks because I bought these trees and they've been planted since fall, but yeah, I guess we'll find out what happened in a few days when I have an opportunity to check the video. And that's about the time she says, oh, that might have been me. I think I thought they were weeds. For the record, no, I do not believe she mistook 2 4-foot saplings for weeds. I let her know that if that's the case, I would like her to replace them. To which she replies that she's not sure, but it might have been. I reassured her that it's okay if she doesn't know. We can wait to resolve it until I view the video because I absolutely do not want her to pay for replacements if she's not responsible. Y'all, she absolutely did not want me to go to the video. She asked me what kind of trees again and I told her. She said that if I told her how much they were, she'd pay me back. And I said, are you sure you don't want to wait to check the video? No, I'll take care of it, just let me know. I pulled my phone up and found comparable redbuds online and we calculated the total that she would owe together. She went inside and gave me cash to get replacements of the redbuds. We stood and chatted for a couple more minutes, but I did reiterate that she needed to talk with me before doing something like this in the future. And if she sees some weeds that she thinks need to be pulled on my property, to let me know, because it isn't fair or right for her to bear the burden of weeding my yard. And so concludes the Redbud murder saga. I hope. I enjoyed OP's spicy handling of this situation, and I really do hope that saga is over for OP at the same time. However, a little part of me is thinking, is she just power tripping about your garden and doesn't like the sight of these trees in your garden for whatever reason, so that's why she wanted to get rid of them originally, which kind of makes me think that she might try something again in the future. But you know, I've read one too many Reddit stories, my brain goes all over the place when I read these stories. I think, maybe she's going to try and poison them later down the line instead, you know, a little quick spray or something as she passes. Oh, I don't know. I'm getting carried away. Well done, OP, for sorting out that situation, for actually getting your trees replaced. Many people saying that they would handle things different. Some people said that should have got punched straight in the face. Other people said they'd have got the authorities involved, etc. But what do you guys make of this situation? Tree law, tree law. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Much love.